Bonjour! Today I'm going to help you with the contextual dialogue. This is an exercise that is expected at French CSEC exam, paper 2 for writing. However, if you are not taking this exam, I believe it's good practice for you. Bonjour! In contextual dialogue part 1, I used the topic of interview and I focused on the questions. Today, in part 2, I will focus on the answers. Vous êtes prêts? C'est parti! So, let's read the instructions. As the president of the French club, you have applied for scholarship to study in France during the summer. You need to go through a selection process in French and using 80 to 100 words, complete the conversation between the interviewer and yourself. So as you can see here, I have underlined 3 groups of words. So I have scholarship. You're applying for scholarship, okay? And you need to go through a selection process, which means that you have to be the best. So you have to try to impress during the interview. And of course, we have a word limit, which is between 80 to 100 words. Now, let's look at the cues. Make sure to include the following: greet the interviewer and respond to his or her opening question. Give a reason for applying. Show your determination for being selected. Show how important this trip will be for you. And finally, your plans for the future with the French language. I have some tips for you. So the first thing is to read the instructions and make note of the keywords. Exactly, you remember that the first time I read the instructions and I underlined the keywords. Please do that. And remember, it's not an essay, it's a dialogue. So it means that the language you're going to use is the language of a dialogue. Then you have to decide if you will use tu or vous, depending on the context. In this situation, it's an interview, so it's going to be very formal. You will have to use vous. You also need to read the text entirely to ensure that your answers are logical. Okay? And of course, don't forget to check your grammar and your spelling. And don't forget to count the words. And I would advise you to count them after each response so that it's easier for you to just add all those little numbers as opposed to doing it right at the end. I mean, it's up to you. But you know that you'll have about 8 answers and it's between 80 to 100. So you know that if you have 8 answers, you can work with 10 words per response. You can do it like that. But I would advise you to do it after each response. It will be easier. So let's go through your activity. So what is in French is the part of the interviewer, and what you'll have to do is to change the English into the French. So the person says, bonjour, comment allez-vous? You need to greet the interviewer and respond accordingly. Alors, pourquoi avez-vous fait cette demande de bourse? Give a reason for applying. The interviewer continues by saying, mais juste aller en France n'est pas une bonne raison pour recevoir cette bourse. Show your determination. He continues, c'est un cours d'été intensif qui nécessite une certaine assiduité. Tell him or tell her that you are a hard-working person and you've been the president for the French club for 2 years. He continues by saying, oui, je vois que vous aimez le français. Quelle carrière avez-vous choisi? So you need to respond and say how important this trip will be for you. Très intéressant. Êtes-vous déjà allé dans un pays francophone? Say that you haven't, but this scholarship is the right opportunity for you to make your dream come true. So as you can see, I put this in English, but it's not a translation, okay? L'entretien est maintenant terminé. Avez-vous une question? So you need to ask a question about the trip. And the answer is 4 personnes. Je vous remercie. Thank him and greet. Je vous en prie, au revoir. So here are my responses. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? So I would say the same bonjour monsieur or bonjour madame, you decide. Je vais bien, merci. And that gives you 6 words. The question is, alors pourquoi avez-vous fait cette demande de bourse? Why did you apply for this scholarship? So you're going to say, j'ai fait cette demande parce que je voudrais aller en France. And that gives me 11 words. Now, why do I say je voudrais aller en France? It's because I read what is coming up. So the interviewer said, mais juste aller en France n'est pas une bonne raison pour recevoir cette bourse. But just going to France is not a good reason to receive this scholarship. So that's the reason why I just put that. So what you're going to say is je voudrais étudier et aller en France. And then you put some more stuff. I said entendre le français parler français sera une bonne pratique pour moi. So I would like to study and go to France. And listening to spoken French, okay, or listening to French spoken by the French will be a very good practice for me. And then you are told, c'est un cours d'été intensif qui nécessite une certaine assiduité. So that means that is an intensive summer course which requires some attendance. So you can't just go there, go to France and not attend the classes, just spend your time visiting. You have to attend the classes. So remember that the cues was that you needed to show your determination. So you're going to say, je suis très travailleur ou très travailleuse if you're female. J'adore le français et je suis le président du club de français depuis 2 ans. And of course, if you are a female, you would say la présidente du club. Okay? And that comes up to 19 words. So the interviewer says, oui, je vois que vous aimez le français. Quelle carrière avez-vous choisi? So now we are talking about which career have you chosen. So you could say something like, j'ai choisi l'enseignement. I remind you that l'enseignement is the word for teaching. I've chosen teaching. Et du français en particulier, and French in particular. Donc, un tel voyage me sera très bénéfique. Therefore, such a trip would be very beneficial to me. And that came up to 15 words. So the person is saying, très intéressant, êtes-vous déjà allé dans un pays francophone? So you can say yes, you can say no, but this is what I decided to say. Malheureusement non, mais je sais que cette bourse sera l'opportunité pour moi de réaliser un rêve. Unfortunately not, but I know that this scholarship will be the opportunity for me to make this dream come true. You don't have to say de réaliser un rêve, you can come up with something else, but this was just to give you an idea of what you could say. So we're coming to the end of the interview. So the question is, well, l'entretien est maintenant terminé. Avez-vous une question? So you remember that in the cues, you have to ask a question. So this is the question I ask. Oui, j'ai une question. Combien de personnes participeront à cette formation? How many people will take part in this training? And that came up to 11 words. So the answer is 4 personnes. So there's 4 scholarships. And it says, je vous remercie, I thank you. Obviously, it's putting an end to the interview. So you have to do the same. Je vous remercie. Au revoir, monsieur or madame, depending on what you had said earlier on. And the answers, je vous en prie, au revoir. Okay? Now, I put je vous remercie. If you want more words, you put je vous remercie because it's 3 words. But if you have used too many words, then you can just say merci. And merci is only 1 word, okay? My tips checklist now. So the first thing you need to do is to read the instructions. Make sure that you read the instructions 3 times if necessary, because if you don't write what they ask you for, then you will not get a good grade. Okay, so instructions plus the cues. Underline the keywords so that you don't forget them. Very important, is it going to be a formal dialogue or informal? Meaning, are you going to use the tu or vous? This will depend on who you will be talking to. Read over what you write, because you can't have a question, what's your name? And you say my age is. The responses must be logical. It is a written exercise, therefore grammar and spelling will be very, very important. So when you finish your activity, just go over and check for the grammar and your spelling. Something which is very important too is the word count. Remember, it's between 80 to 100 words. So I would suggest that you really keep to the 80, 85 words, because the more you write, the more mistakes you're likely to make. So it makes no sense to write and make more mistakes. So try to stick to that, and you'll be fine. Okay, so don't forget that next week, hopefully, I will release the second part of this video, which will be very different, because today we just focused on questions, but you're less likely to have something like that. So the second part will be more interesting and also closer to what you will get in the exam. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please like it, share it, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Au revoir.